Have you ever found yourself thinking about some of the games we used to play as children and wondering what ever happened to them? The other day, I was thinking about recess when I was in school, and it occurred to me that I hardly ever see children playing those games anymore. When I was a little girl, recess wasn't about phones, tablets, or video games. As soon as that bell rang, we were outside and everyone seemed to have something to do. The girls, they often grabbed their skipping ropes. Most of us had our own skipping rope that was just long enough for one person. But the really exciting skipping ropes were the long ones that needed two people turning, one at each end. I loved those, and if someone brought out the ropes for double dutch, that was even better. I got pretty good at it back then. I thought I was quite the expert as I jumped in and out while those ropes flew around. Looking back now, I don't know how I managed it, because those days I would probably trip over my own feet. Then there was hopscotch. Every once in a while I'll see a hopscotch on the sidewalk or something, so obviously children are still playing that one. We would draw it, on the pavement just like they do today, or sometimes we would use a stick and do it in the ground. We spent what felt like hours hopping from square to square. It was simple, but somehow it never seemed boring. All you needed was a piece of chalk and a small rock or a branch or a piece of wood, and you were ready to go. Another favorite of mine was jumping jacks. Do you remember jacks? You had the little metal jacks and a rubber ball. You bounced the ball, picked up a jack, and had to catch the ball before it bounced again. Then you moved on to picking up 2 jacks at a time, then 3 at a time, and so on. I remember feeling pretty proud when I got good at it. It sounds simple now, but back then it took concentration and quick hands. Then there were marbles. Do you remember marbles? Oh, the boys and girls loved marbles. I absolutely loved marbles. We would make a little hole in the ground, usually near the school wall, and everyone would take turns throwing their marble and trying to get close to the hole. Sometimes it felt a little bit like golf. The marbles themselves were beautiful, all different colors and patterns. They were so many different colors, and they were so pretty. There were the regular size marbles, and then you could also get larger ones. We called them Aggies. And if you were really lucky, you might have a few Steelies. I thought Steelies were the greatest thing ever. And you could get Aggies that were Steelies too, and that was even better. There was something special about carrying those marbles around in your pocket and showing them off to your friends, and maybe even trading. And see which one had the lucky one that would win. And then there was Red Rover. I don't think many schools would allow that game today. For anyone who may not remember it, there was 2 teams would facing each other, and holding their hands. One team would call someone over from the other side, and that person would run as fast as they could and try to break through the linked hands. And usually you would call the smallest one over because they probably weren't going to be that strong. And guess who would be called over many times? Little Carol Ann, because I wasn't that strong. Looking back, it sounds like a very strange game, but we loved it. I suppose we were a little tougher back then, or maybe we just didn't think about getting hurt. What strikes me now is not just the games themselves, it is how much imagination and social interaction that was involved. Nobody needed expensive equipment. Nobody needed batteries. And nobody needed Wi-Fi. We just found something to do. And we spent time together. When I think back on those days, I can still hear the sounds of children laughing on the playground. I can still picture the skipping ropes, turning and marbles rolling across the ground. I could remember being excited to get outside and play. And the 15-minute recess breaks, they seemed like a long time back then. Maybe that is the part I miss the most. It wasn't really about the skipping ropes or the marbles. It was about being completely present in the moment and not worrying about anything beyond that day. Sometimes I wonder if children today are missing out on some of that experience. Then again, every generation probably says the same thing about the younger generation. The games change. The toys change. The world changes. But children still find ways to have fun. I am sure, or rather I am just not sure that they are playing the same games we did. So now I am curious. Do you remember any of these games? Did you play double dutch, hopscotch, jumping jacks, marbles, or Red Rover? And are there any games from your childhood that you never see children playing anymore? I would love to hear about them because sometimes the best trips down memory lane happen when someone reminds us of something we haven't thought about in 50 or 60 years.